winter's night, but my heart still aches for those who fight for freedom's flame in the darkest light. True freedom fighters, the Mavericks we praise, blazing their trails through shadowy days. They stand unbroken, their courage shines for every soul, for all mankind. All I want for Christmas is freedom, for every maverick to lead the way. Goodwill toward men, let the light begin, and a brighter dawn for a brand new day. Break the chains of tyranny, let the world hear our rights are from a higher place, so clear. All I want this Christmas, my cheer, is freedom for all, far and near. The battle's not over, the war still calls against those who build oppression's walls. But the maverick spirit will never fade, a beacon of hope through history's blade. So we pray for strength and we stand as one, for the rights of the many and the dreams yet spun. The gift of freedom, it knows no price, born of courage, sacrifice. All I want for Christmas is freedom, for every maverick to lead the way. Goodwill toward men, let the light begin, and a brighter dawn for a brand new day. Break the chains of tyranny, let the world hear our rights are from a higher place, so clear. All I want this Christmas, my cheer, is freedom for all, far and near. Let's honor the brave, the fearless, the true, the mavericks who dare to break through. Their fight's our fight, their cause divine. Freedom for all, for your heart and mind. All I want for Christmas is freedom, for every maverick to light the way. Goodwill toward men, let the peace begin, and a brighter world for us to stay. Stand against dictators, let justice ring, all rights from above, the anthem we sing. All I want for Christmas this year is freedom for all, far and near. Ooh. This Christmas we remember the mavericks so bold, who carry the torch in the freezing cold. Freedom's the gift, the fight never done. This Christmas we pray it's for everyone.
Greetings, Mavericks and new viewers. Tonight, direct and live from the Maverick News Network World Studios. This is Maverick News with Rick Walker.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Maverick News Channel. Great to have the Maverick family back together again tonight, and new viewers too. And what a night of news we have to cover. Russia shot down Santa Claus. I can't believe I'm actually saying that, but yeah, Russia murdered Santa Claus. I'm going to show you the video. Viewer discretion advised, especially if you have little kids. It's coming up. We're going to go to the phones and talk about that later in the broadcast. We'll also show you the undercover secret spying operation that Russia has been conducting off the coast of Finland. And we will also talk about the ongoing infighting within the MAGA movement. I said a long time ago that what's going on with Trump and MAGA this time around is a lot different than what we experienced in 2016. And that is because the MAGA tent has widened and you have a much more diverse group of people under that tent. There's clearly a wide range of political opinion under that tent, and the MAGA family has, as a result, become, in my view, very dysfunctional. And they're not even back in the White House yet, but they're on their way. And the cracks in the MAGA, what do you call it? The cracks in MAGA unity, they're really beginning to show. And I just hope that they can work things out so that the United States, the Western world, the free world ends up in a more stable place. It's feeling very unstable. We'll show you what's going on there too, as our broadcast for tonight, December 28th, 2024, begins.
You know, someone very profoundly once said many years ago that if fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism.
Well, I think it's time we ask ourselves if we still know the freedoms that were intended for us by the Founding Fathers. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on Earth.
The entire world is watching.
Every dictator, every crazy dictator in the world is watching.
The world is watching. On TV, the entire world is watching. On social media.
But the entire world is watching, and yes, they are seeing what we have apparently bravely been willing to say that others are thinking.
Stand for freedom. Literally stand for freedom. Let's get this done. The entire world is watching.
We're at war with the most dangerous enemy that has ever faced mankind in his long climb from the swamp to the stars.
Maverick News. Maverick News. Maverick News.
Let me have more control of my own destiny.
The world is watching. Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals. Defenders of individual rights and freedoms. Credible. Trusted. Grounded in reality. Maverick News. Maverick News. Defending free speech. Free speech. Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching.
Well, we're going to get to the whole thing with Santa Claus being shot down, killed. I'm going to save it for a little later in the broadcast because we will be going to the phones. I would like your feedback on this. At first, I saw this thing as sort of a strange, twisted, dark humor thing. When I first saw it, I didn't know where it came from. And then when I found out what it was, within minutes, I realized what it was, I actually got pretty angry. It upset me. The more I think about it, the more upset I get. And I'm going to be very interested in getting your feedback on this tonight. So get those dialing fingers ready so you can get your old rotary dial phones out and give us a ring here at the Maverick News Channel, but later. I'm not going to get into the phone calls off the top. We will later in the broadcast. Right now, got to revisit the divide that is deepening between different factions within the MAGA camp, the Trump world. It's all because of immigration and these work visas. That's the issue. And Elon Musk, some are saying he has, and this is a direct quote from some media tonight, saying that Elon Musk seems to have worn out his welcome with some MAGA supporters. Here, I'll show you. Here's Yahoo News. I'd say they're kind of progressive in their political views overall. But look at the headlines here. Let me bring it up. Elon Musk threatens war with MAGA Republicans. Can you believe this? Donald Trump, it says, has backed Elon Musk in supporting visas for skilled migrants. The president-elect waded into a row that has split the Republican Party by defending H-1B visas, which permit highly educated foreigners to work in the U.S. for up to 6 years. Mr. Trump appeared to row back on his previous criticism of the skilled worker visas, claiming that he has always liked them and that he has many H-1B visa holders working on his properties. He says, I've always liked the visas. I've always been in favor of the visas. That's why we have them, he told the New York Post. I have many H-1B visas on my properties. I have been a believer in H-1B. I've used it many times. It's a great program. Interesting how they're spelling program. That looks like, anyway, 2 M's and an E. I don't think that's the American spelling. But anyway, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe as a Canadian, I'm thinking of Canadian spelling. So all this, it says, comes after Mr. Musk vowed to, quote, go to war over the issue with MAGA Republicans who have called for tighter restrictions on immigration. The Tesla billionaire and incoming head of the inaugural Department of Government Efficiency responded to the backlash by vowing to kick out hateful, unrepentant racists from the Republican Party. Now, who would have predicted that, especially at this point? Elon Musk calling MAGA supporters racists. Isn't that the kind of thing that you normally get from, the left when they're attacking people on the right, or the so-called right, or whatever you want to call it? Certainly MAGA supporters, that's been the go-to, right? If you run out of argument, you just call the other side a racist. So it says here at least 14 conservative accounts who criticized the Tesla founder's pro-legal immigration views claimed that X had since revoked their blue verification badge, removing access to monetization through subscriptions and advertising revenue. Look at this. It says here, I'm sorry, I have to say, I do find it kind of funny, because I've been telling people for a long time, you're getting convergence, you're getting the far left and the far right kind of coming together, not just in MAGA, but in a larger sense too, in a much bigger way that should be of real concern to people here in the West. Instead, they're They see that there's a 5-alarm fire, but people are running straight into the burning building, committing, I would say, cultural, political, social suicide as they self-flagellate and engage in self-loathing. But anyway, that's a broader discussion for another time. It says here, quote, take a big step back and, excuse my language, this is a direct quote in the news story. Boy, I'll tell you, back in the day, you'd never get language like this, even in like a mainstream media newspaper. But anyway, take a big step back and, again, just fuck yourself in the face. I will go to war on this issue, the likes of which you cannot possibly comprehend, Mr. Musk wrote on X. The online outburst comes as supporters of President-elect Donald Trump teeter on the brink of a civil war over immigration. Holy crap. Like, oh, wow. MAGA anti-immigration loyalists have shown increasing skepticism towards Mr. Trump's tech world allies over their support for legal immigration. Mr. Musk, who was born in South Africa and became a U.S. citizen in 2002, has credited the HP1 scheme with attracting critical people to build tech companies such as SpaceX and Tesla. He has likened the need to attract the top 0.1% of engineering talent to an American professional sports team, bringing in talent from abroad to remain successful. The tech billionaire responded to a tweet which claimed Americans cannot fill jobs the tech right are calling out for because they are retarded. That's a quote, retarded, by saying, quote, this pretty much sums it up. And then it says here, Vivek Ramaswamy, who will lead the federal cost-cutting drive alongside Mr. Musk, has also attracted criticism for claiming American culture is to blame for U.S. firms' desire to hire foreign workers, which we got into last night. And in his social media posts, he said, quote, a culture that celebrates the prom queen over the math Olympiad champ or the jock over the valedictorian will not produce the best engineers. It goes on, it says the pair's position has spawned outrage from right-wing commentators such as Steve Bannon, who responded to Mr. Musk on X. Quote, someone please notify Child Protection Services. Need to do a wellness check on this toddler. Wow. The owner of X has also been accused of censoring fellow conservatives on his social media platform after several prominent accounts lost access to premium features. The X account, he's supposed to be a free speech absolutist, rather. The X account, Conservative OG, which has more than 430,000 followers, has claimed its verification status was removed after it spoke out against HB1 visas. Quote, it appears that Elon Musk intentionally shut us down. The account complained on X, adding, again, the quote goes on, it says, is this the new status quo from America's most free social media platform? Now, I have to say, I think the mainstream media is certainly making the most of this, or I should say maybe not even mainstream media, the progressive media. Of course, they're using this to highlight, go after the Trump world. And here it says, Laura Loomer, right-wing activist and close Trump ally, said Mr. Musk had, quote, censored her account over her views on migration. Ms. Loomer told her 1.4 million followers on X that, quote, tech billionaires are like termites who have descended upon Palm Beach to infest and rot from within. She later added, quote, we won't allow big tech to create their fantasy monarchy in America and make MAGA their indentured servants' slaves. Where is all this coming from, really? You know, some of these people on the right, and I'm not singling out Laura Loomer necessarily here, but a lot of the people on the right are not really, I wouldn't say, on the right. They are, in fact, sort of socialists, maybe even belonging over on the left, because we have had this ideological convergence. And the old, shall we say, political labels that we've seen in the past, I would say, don't really even apply accurately anymore. In fact, this is Jordan Peterson talking about that very thing with author Terry Glavin, who tells Jordan Peterson Americans have to, quote, understand that when Pierre Poilievre talks about housing, employment, healthcare, and wages, he's Bernie Sanders. Now, this is a Canadian reference, okay? Because Pierre Poilievre is the prime minister in waiting in Canada, highly expected to be elected as prime minister in the next election when Justin Trudeau is defeated, and it looks like he's going to be soundly defeated by the Conservatives whenever that election is called, possibly sooner rather than later. It looks like we could be even just maybe a week away from a committee trying to force some sort of a non-confidence vote, although procedurally I'm not sure that it will be effective. Anyway, we can get into that in a little bit, but here's this conversation that has, it's rooted in that they're kind of talking about Canadian politics, but also in a broader sense, all politics, especially in the free world, the Western world, the United States. And it makes reference to this. I call it convergence of the left and the right, the extremes of the left and the right, the fascists and the communists, the authoritarians. Well, here, I'm just going to play you the clip. You'll understand, I think, once... oh, where did it go? Hang on. Here we are, right here. Okay, so you'll understand when you listen to this.
So Pierre Poilievre's coming along, right?
Yep.
And the interesting thing about Pierre Poilievre, this goes back to what we were talking about earlier about language. And is this liberal or, what the hell? Pierre Poilievre, when he talks about housing, when he talks about employment, when he talks about access to healthcare, when he talks about wages, he's Bernie Sanders. The Americans have to understand this. Try to imagine Bernie Sanders. I mean, and also the trade union vote has gone to
the
conservatives.
Yeah.
Gone to Poilievre. This has never happened before.
Yeah.
The working class vote has gone to Pierre Poilievre. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a partisan conservative. I don't know if I've ever written a conservative sentence in my life, by the way, although most of my friends seem to be conservatives. I don't know how that happens.
Well, the whole world's upside down, so that's not surprising.
So what the hell?
Whatever the classic political distinctions were 15 years ago, whatever they are now bears no relationship to what they were 15 years ago.
Yeah, it's true. And what we're seeing with MAGA is populism. It's not conservatism. It's not even like it was in 2016. What you have within the MAGA movement now is this. There was this unity. In fact, they were using the word unity near the end of the campaign because they brought former Democrats into the MAGA tent. Tulsi Gabbard, and more significantly, RFK Jr. and the people around him. So and don't forget that when Trump was campaigning against RFK Jr., he was portraying him, calling him out for being a far left extremist, a socialist, maybe even a communist. And then he embraces RFK Jr., brings him in, and went from calling him crazy to making him a big part of the MAGA team. and you're bringing people from the RFK Jr. camp with that into the MAGA world. That, when I think back to 2016, the real appeal for conservatives was that there was a real conservative foundation to the MAGA movement. And you saw that even in Canada with the People's Party of Canada, the PPC, when originally formed with Maxime Bernier. He actually had been running for the leadership of the Conservative Party. was sort of rejected, went over, started his own party, and it was a new home for conservatives. But over time, it has evolved, and you're getting people from all kinds of political persuasions joining the PPC. And I would say that the PPC today, like MAGA in the US, is no longer just a conservative movement. It is a populist movement. And populist movements historically have always been dysfunctional and tend to self-destruct because you have so much diversity of opinion within the movement itself. There's usually a single galvanizing issue that brings people together. In this case, I would say it was the pandemic. That's what, and lockdowns, and the main issues that encompassed that. That was the rallying cry that brought people together, because we saw rights, personal freedoms, individual freedoms, rights violated. And so that was the galvanizing issue. That's what brought people together. Then you saw, well, maybe the bigger point is you didn't see that certain political groups were using those same political issues, social issues, real issues, to sort of springboard their political activism. That's what was going on. And so now you've got this real mix of people within MAGA. You've got a more diverse mix within the PPC. And that's why you've got all this fighting already. I said before, I don't know how Trump is really going to make it work, especially if you have sort of half conservatives, half socialists. You have people who want way less government, and then over here you have people who want way more government. And then on the extremes, on the outside edges, you have socialism, or people who believe in socialism, but one is sort of a fascistic kind of socialism, and on the other end of the extreme, it's communistic, sort of, or Trotsky. It's almost like Trotskyism, or maybe. And the point is, what we're really getting now is this Russian-flavored Duginism within North America, which really does combine fascism and socialism, and people are embracing that because of what they perceive as being conservative social values. Those are the things that really appeal most to people within the movement. And that's coming, there's this, and that kind of conservatism is really coming from Islamofascism, this Russian form of neoliberal fascism, I would call it, within Russia itself. These are complex ideas, and the explanation for all of this is pretty complex. I'm probably losing people because I'm making too many assumptions for the audience here, for you guys, not being empathetic enough in you listening to me. I'm making too many assumptions, thinking that people have read a lot of the stuff that I've read. The bottom line is, we've got a dysfunctional MAGA movement, and they're fighting right now. And the big issue is immigration. And the reason that they're fighting is because you have a much more diverse group of people within the movement itself. And you're seeing it even in the appointments that Trump is making, whether it's Kash Patel, who's going to maybe end up running the FBI, all the way over to Sebastian Gorka being, instrumental, and he's going to be a key figure within the Trump administration. But I'd say those two guys maybe not likely to see eye to eye on a lot of things at the end of the day. And then you've got other people like, now Elon Musk, go almost, he's going to go to war within the Republican Party, and he's calling MAGA supporters, a lot of them racists. And this isn't sitting well with a lot of people. It's a true thing. Like, it's really actually happening. I don't know what else to tell you. It is kind of funny, but it's very serious as well. Here's let's take a look at the Laura Loomer posts, okay? Because she's responding to Musk tonight. Here we go. She was traveling with Trump on his plane for a while, and I think it was actually when Laura Loomer was traveling with him. I think she actually had his ear, and I think she was listening to a lot of. Well, I should just say that was around the time when the Springfield, Ohio, eating the cats and dogs thing came up, and she was helping him prepare for that debate where he mentioned it, and I think that was partly because she was in the loop, or she had Trump's ear at the time. But anyway, probably not the smartest thing he ever did. I think that cost him some ground in the debate. But anyway, here's Loomer saying, responding to an Elon Musk post where he says, just a note to encourage people of different political or other views to engage in civil debate on Twitter. Worst case, the other side has a slightly better understanding of your views. And then she says, oh yeah? And then she goes on here and says, so after Elon Musk took away my verification, I just received an email from X charging me for X Premium, even though I can't access Premium because my blue check and subscribers have been taken away. So you ban me from the service, then charge me for it. How is that ethical? And then she's got the receipts. Like literally, people say they bring receipts to a debate. Well, she literally brought the receipt. There's the bill for $16. And she doesn't have access. If you want to get rich, just keep charging people for services that you no longer provide. She did this, and then this post here, she responds to Chunky Uyghur from the Young Turks. He says, I agree with Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy about H-1B visas, but I love the rebellion against them because it shows that MAGA is thinking for itself. He goes on and says, I disagree with the right-wing populists here because I think it's... I don't know if you can still see that. Let me see if you can still follow here. Yeah, it's still up. Okay. I disagree with the right-wing populists here because I think it's awesome that the most talented engineers across the world want to come here. And I think they make us stronger because we get to take the top talent of all of the countries. That's the great advantage of being America. We shouldn't throw that away. But this fight shows that MAGA is not a monolith. And that's a great thing. Vivek is right and wrong. He's right that we should celebrate nerds and people who work hard in school, but he's wrong that we need to put down anyone else in order to do that. I was both an honors student and the middle linebacker for our football team. There's nothing wrong with being a jock or a nerd or both. I can't stand Laura Loomer, and I think her comments about Indians are awful, but I also don't think she should be punished for her comments, blocked or unverified. Let the marketplace of ideas sort this out. The forces for good don't need censors to help us. What if they're over on your channel and posting stuff constantly that you don't like? How would that sit with you, Chunk? Chunk? I can't pronounce his name. I call him Chunky because I don't... Sank? Sorry, I don't, it is what it is. Yeah, so Laura Loomer, not happy with Elon Musk at all. And a lot of other MAGAs not happy with Elon tonight. Here's MSNBC making the most of this feud. Let me show you this. This is better than a soap opera in a lot of ways, man. Like, it really is. It's, what else can I say? Where did my clip go here? Oh, man, I hate it when that happens. Let me take a break. I gotta sort these clips out. I got lots more.
Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals, defenders of individual rights and freedoms, credible, trusted, grounded in reality. Maverick News, Maverick News. Defending free speech, free speech. Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching.
I'm back. Here's the clip I wanted to share with you. This is MSNBC. They kind of got a point. They've kind of got a point. As the MAGA world turns tonight.
America is a land of the free, home of the brave, all that good stuff that Elon Musk was tweeting about. However, please don't come for Americans. And I would like, let's be very clear, I would like white Americans to stand up. This is your calling card, honey. Where's your banner? Because they coming for you. They said y'all white and lazy. That's crazy.
Well,
that's crazy.
What I
and
find
if
is
I said
interesting.
It, y'all would be coming for me. Well, I would never say that because that's insane.
That's the point. What you have happening here is the very thing that white folks have said about black people.
I'm sorry. I just want to know, Vivek was born in the U.S.
For generations. Vivek is now saying about white people, and they don't like it for some reason. Oh, y'all not lazy. Y'all not slow. Y'all not stupid. Well, that's what we've been saying for 400 years, and yet here we are. You still want to not read our history or go through our CRTs and all this
This is
stuff.
why the great Reverend Jesse Jackson talked about the Rainbow Coalition, honey, and people were uniting across the working class, okay? And black people and white folks and Latino folks coming together because the rich people, they're not here for you, and this is how they letting you know, okay? They just let you know. So you want to come on over to the Rainbow Coalition, you come join us, right?
It don't feel like the country's coming together. It doesn't feel like it at all. Which one is this? Which post do I have up right now? This is more Laura Loomer stuff. Hang on. Let me get you this. Telling the truth isn't trolling. Read the room, Elon Musk. You bought your way into MAGA 5 minutes ago. This is actually from, I think, yesterday. 5 minutes ago, after Trump almost had his head blown off in Butler. Remember when you voted for Biden and propped up Governor Ron DeSantis and you said Trump was too old? We all know you only donated your money so you could influence immigration policy and protect your buddy Xi Jinping. Oh, baby. Not pulling any punches, is she? Vicious. Wow. Oh, yeah, I need to look this up. See if I can find this for you quickly. Okay, yeah, here's Steve Bannon. Couple of Bannon clips for you. Okay? Another, longtime Trump loyalist, even when he sort of got kicked out of the first Trump administration. Because he was part of the Trump inner circle for a long time. And even after he got kicked out, he was still loyal to Trump. Never deviated from that, even now. But he has been very critical of Musk over time. And Musk has not been consistent. I've been saying for a long time, man, like, hey, hello. Guy just bought his way into the White House for 270, 272, 277, whatever. I keep hearing all these different amounts. $270+ million. And then you're all worried about big corporate money influencing politics? You're worried about AIPAC? They spend, I told you the other night, 100 million across like everything as part of their political lobby, right? And some people are pretty crazy about it, think that they control the world with that, especially the United States. And Musk just spent almost 3 times that amount just on Trump. You think that he doesn't have a little bit of influence over what Trump is saying and doing right now? Here's Bannon. Bannon has never liked Musk. Look at this, man. Look. This is where the cracks are, man. This is where the cracks are.
Crony capitalism, Elon Musk. And by the way, when we cut him off, he went begging the CCP, and that's why they have the joint venture in Shanghai, the Tesla, which is 100% of his value, right? This guy lives on government contracts and taxpayer subsidies, okay? It's all, we're going to get Joe Allen in here for a second to transform it. Elon Musk, once again, brother, I'm smart enough to tell you no to your face, and I'm evil enough to be able to expose you as a running dog for the greatest enemy this nation's ever had. You are a war profiteer. You're sleeping with the enemy, brother, and you've been doing it because you're not an American nationalist. You're not even an American. All you are is a globalist, okay? A globalist. And you will go where anybody writes you a check, and you would take it from Adolf Hitler himself, because you're taking it from people that are as bad as Adolf Hitler. The murderous regime of the Chinese Communist Party, which you praised on their 100th anniversary. Let me bring it.
Yay, MAGA! I'm sorry. I told you. I'm not anti-Trump. Don't shoot the messenger, okay? But I hate to say it, but I told you so. Dysfunctional or what?
I mean,
I think until Elon Musk starts letting back on the true anti-CCP people that he keeps blocked off there, myself included. Not that I want to go on there. Oh yeah, no. He's owned by the Chinese Communist Party. What are you talking about? Tesla, his only thing of real value is Tesla. He uses it for margin loans. He sells the stock. The Shanghai joint venture is 100% controlled by the CCP. This is why he never goes after the CCP. This is why he always backs off. This is when they had the protest. They had the protest about the lockdowns of COVID. He will not do it. Elon Musk is a total and complete phony. He is in bed in a business partner. He's done some good stuff, letting stuff out, with Taibbi and others. It's fine. But he is owned lock, stock, and barrel by the Chinese Communist Party, and he acts like it.
Don't listen to me, man. You can get it from him if you want. I'm just telling you. And now the guy who relies pretty much entirely and has built this massive fortune and has done it on the backs of taxpayers with government grants, tax breaks, subsidies, carbon tax credits. Yeah, see, that's the way the system works, right? You get carbon credits for producing electric vehicles, and then you sell those credits to other companies that are producing traditional internal combustion engine powered cars so that they continue to produce them. So you take that government money from various governments around the world and you sell those credits off. That's the way it works. So it's all government subsidies. That's Tesla plus SpaceX. That's all government contracts. And so now what does Trump do? He takes this guy who basically bought his way into the White House, bought the presidency, literally giving away $1 million to Trump supporters if they signed a petition at one point, which I don't even think was legal, but oh well, you want to talk about a rigged election. He literally bought it. And then now we've got this guy co-heading the Department of Government Efficiency. if that isn't a conflict of interest, I don't know what is. You literally have this guy, you've got Trump putting the fox in charge of guarding the henhouse. And maybe he'll do a good job. Then again, it might be like, where's the cookie jar? Can I put my hand in there? Who knows where this is going to go, but I ain't getting a good feeling about it. I'm not. And it's so blatantly obvious. It's so twisted. And I think the people on the Democrat side, they're so exasperated. At this point, they're not challenging anything. I see Alex Jones saying, the Democrats are plotting to prevent Trump from getting into the White House the day before the inauguration. Horse hockey. No, they're exasperated. They're throwing up their arms at this point, and they're saying, go ahead. Just go ahead. You're going to self-destruct. Even they can see it. And I'm not a Democrat, okay? I'm not. But you can see it. It's like, just let him go. He's going to, just let him, we can't do anything. Just go with the transition of power, and he'll blow up the country. And then people will come back to us. That's, I think, really more accurately what is going on. And it is kind of crazy and ridiculous. A lot of this stuff. And I'm going to say just straight up, half the people that Trump is appointing to these key positions, I think they're bat crap crazy. I think they are. Some of them are just straight up nuts. And the other half are pretty solid. And we'll see how many of them are confirmed. My guess is a lot of the crazy ones are going to be cast aside. And I don't even, where does Elon Musk find the time to run the Department of Government Efficiency when he's busy running SpaceX rockets, trying to put people on Mars, running a car company, sort of, kind of being pushed to the outer edges of Tesla anyway, within his own company. But I don't know, where is that guy going to find the time? He's obviously got other people, running things. He's set up systems and teams that are very effective, and he's running, fairly strong companies. But I would want somebody, personally, if I were setting up the Department of Government Efficiency, I want somebody in there who doesn't get government contracts, doesn't rely on them, isn't allowed to apply for them, would declare any kind of contact, or any business dealings that they might have as a conflict of interest, and it would automatically disqualify someone from being in that position, as it should. I think there probably should be laws if there aren't. There certainly are, I think, in Canada against that kind of thing going on. You have to declare your conflict of interest. That's a massive. Anyway, I digress. But people are just right now, I don't believe in climate change, which, I'm skeptical as well, but people who have been in that camp, and the people who are like, and me too, I think the electric vehicle mandate thing, too fast, too hard, too much government involvement. I would prefer to see more market forces involved, and I've never been a fan of Tesla, ever. Wouldn't buy one. Don't like the way the product is serviced, where they force you to go to the dealer to get your car fixed. You can't take it to a regular garage. There are all these other issues, even quality issues. But anyway, I see people on the MAGA side who are diametrically opposed to Elon Musk on all these issues, and yet they're like, yay, Elon, you're our hero. This is the same thing with RFK Jr. It's just the Kennedy name. People are blinded by the name, the bright lights, the neon light, Kennedy, the Kennedy sign. It's blinded people. You're not seeing past that to see what the dangers are. People are not looking past the headlines. We're going to find out. We're going to find out. And I hope I am really wrong. You can't make this stuff up. You just can't. Yeah, this is actually pretty funny. Look at this. I'm going to show you this. Oh, this is funny. Steve Bannon needs to stop picking on Elon Musk. Oh, that is funny. I think that's hilarious. Good picture. Oh, man. So, okay, let's show you the Trump clip, okay, on the H-1B visa thing. So you can see what the president-elect himself is saying about this tonight. I think we've got him here. Is that it? No. Is that one it? No. I got to bring it up here. I wish we had a better system for bringing up clips and firing videos here on the in the system. But we will make the best of what we have. So he says here, yeah, so this is Trump coming out. And I think this is in the New York Post interview from today with Trump. Yeah. Let's bring it up full screen. And here he is.
It's so sad when we lose people from Harvard, MIT, from the greatest schools, and lesser schools that are phenomenal schools also. And what I wanted to do, and I would have done this, but then we had to solve the COVID problem because that came in and, sort of dominated for a little while, as you perhaps know. But what I want to do and what I will do is you graduate from a college, I think you should get automatically as part of your diploma a green card to be able to stay in this country. And that includes junior colleges too. Anybody graduates from a college, you go in there for 2 years or 4 years. If you graduate or you get a doctorate degree from a college, you should be able to stay in this country. And you know more stories than I do, but I know of stories where people graduated from a top college or from a college and they desperately wanted to stay here. They had a plan for a company, a concept, and they can't. They go back to India, they go back to China, they do the same basic company in those places, and they become multi-billionaires employing thousands and thousands of people, and it could have been done here. And a bigger example is you need a pool of people to work for your companies. You have great companies, and they have to be smart people. Not everybody can be less than smart. You need brilliant people. And we force the brilliant people, the people that graduate from college, the people that are number one in their class from the best colleges, you have to be able to recruit these people and keep the people. It was such a big deal. Somebody graduates at the top of the class. They can't even make a deal with the company because they don't think they're going to be able to stay in the country. That is going to end on day one.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I think we all wholeheartily agree with that.
It makes sense to me too, actually. I don't have an issue with it. It makes sense. If you have people come here and get educated, why wouldn't you want them to stay so that you keep those skills, that knowledge in your country? It benefits everybody. It benefits society. It's better for the economy. It's better for everyone. Makes sense to me. And I think this is a clip of Bernie Sanders. Now, we heard Pierre Poilievre compared to Bernie Sanders. Pierre Poilievre, leader of the Conservative Party in Canada. And I get that because in Canada, of course, we have a Conservative Party of Canada, but there's absolutely a progressive arm to the Conservative Party within Canada. And in Canada, we tend to be somewhat more, shall we say, liberal, classically liberal, or even socialist than our American counterparts, or so they say. Anyway, here's Bernie Sanders, and I think this is the clip where he addresses exactly what I've been saying tonight. And I'm not generally aligned very much with Bernie Sanders, but we're both on the same page on this one, I think, where we're saying, hey, wait a minute, Elon Musk, he kind of bought his way into the presidency.
Look, I think what we are looking at in this country, and we don't talk about it enough, is the growth in America of oligarchy. And I think ordinary people do understand that there's something very wrong when we have three people on top owning more wealth than the bottom half of American society. And of course, at the top of the list is Elon Musk. And what we're seeing now is not just the big money interest and the impact they have over the economy. We're now seeing it in a way we have never seen it before as a result of Citizens United, their ownership of the political process as well. So it's Elon Musk putting in zillions of dollars and working very hard for Trump. I think you got 3 Republicans putting in over $200 million. And of course, Democratic billionaires are also playing a very important role in the Harris campaign. So people are sitting back and they're saying, well, I thought democracy was one person, one vote. Now I'm seeing Elon Musk, richest guy in the world, working day and night for Trump. What's going on? So does it concern me? Of course it concerns me. But what also concerns me is I hear very little discussion about the need to end this disastrous Citizens United Supreme Court decision and move to public funding of elections. Now, I may be missing it, but have you heard much discussion on that?
No, nobody's talking about it.
The message is that if elected, Democrats are going to stand up with a struggling working class and take on an oligarchy now whose greed is destroying this country. All right? That's the message I would like to see, and that's a message I think that would resonate with ordinary Americans. They know that there's something wrong when 60% of our people live in paycheck to paycheck. They know there's something wrong when we're the only major country on earth not to guarantee health care to all people as a human right. We don't have paid family and medical leave, massive income and wealth inequality. They know it. We got to talk about it, and then we have to have the courage to say, you know what, we are going to act and do something about it.
Well, you know, again, like I don't agree with everything Bernie Sanders says, but at this level, when you see this going on, you see Elon Musk joined at the hip to Trump after dumping $270+ million into his campaign. Like, come on. Come on. And then he gets this appointment to this government agency that is newly formed, and he's going to head that up with Vivek, who also came in to support Trump. This is patronage, is what it is. It's political patronage for an oligarch. So we're seeing this system of oligarchy taking hold in the U.S. political system. Where else do we see an oligarchy? Where do oligarchs kind of control things? Russia. Yeah. Just saying. Just saying. Yeah. And are we not kind of at war with Russia? Russia certainly is saying so. Putin is saying so. And everything with Russia these days is upside down. They've turned our world upside down. They really have. With their propaganda, their information warfare, they have people thinking upside down. And even as they are aggressive about things, they always claim to be the victim. Even as they invade other countries, they say they're the victim. Whatever they do, it's never their fault. They're always defending. But I tell you, this latest thing, this thing that they just did, good luck defending this. All right? They literally murdered Santa Claus. And it's pissing me off. It is seriously pissing me off. If this doesn't upset you, I don't know what will. Johnny, the pro-Putin Maverick who loves him some Russia, loves him some Putin. This one's for you, pal. All right? Putin and his Russian henchmen, they literally teamed up with Russian Santa Claus to murder Western Santa Claus as he's flying over over Moscow, near the Kremlin. So they shoot him down. Like, I got the video here. Hang on, let me show you this. This just... At first I thought, oh, this is just some sort of strange dark humor thing. No, it's actually real propaganda. Real? Yeah. And it's gone viral, especially over in Russia, where I guess Russian media is embracing it, promoting it, and a lot of people are over there rejoicing in this in some sick, twisted way. This is sick. This is sick. If you have kids, you may not want them to watch this because this is sick. You got to be some kind of twisted to produce this kind of crap. Okay, I'm going to run it for you. As promised, here it is. This is Russia murdering Santa Claus.
Ho, ho, ho! Hi, Russians! Here are your presents! Happy New Year! Holy shit!
Все? Все. Цель уничтожена. Правильно. Не нужно нам ничего иностранного в нашем небе. С Новым годом! И тебя, дед. Всех с Новым годом.
So, okay, let's provide a full review of this, shall we? Softens the audience up in classic storytelling form, where it's like, here's Christmas in Russia, which they celebrate. It's different in Russia than it is in the West. Russia's version of Santa Claus is known as Dead Moros or Grandfather Frost, has a distinct cultural background and characteristics that differ from Western Santa Claus. So Dead Moros has origins in Slavic pagan mythology, linked to the god of winter, Morozko. His character developed through centuries of folklore, absorbing elements from various cultural influences. And unlike Santa in the West, who has roots in the Dutch Sinterklaas and St. Nicholas, Dead Moros is not directly connected to Christian saints, but rather to pre-Christian traditions that evolved with cultural changes. So Dead Moros typically wears a long fur-lined cloak or robe, often blue or red, and a round fur hat, contrasting with Santa's red suit and hat with a white fur trim. So you've got opposing Santas. And he sports a long white beard like Santa, but his overall appearance, it varies. It's depicted in this video, okay? So this is Grandfather Frost, the Russian version of Santa Claus.
Ho, ho, ho!
There's our dude.
Russians! Here are your...
And so they're depicting our Santa Claus as a warmonger. Okay? That pisses me off. Santa Claus is not a warmonger. And then what's he bringing as presents? Missiles, bombs with the NATO symbol on it. As if to say that, Santa Claus is part of this. Because what they're doing here is they're depicting Santa Claus in some sick, twisted cliche as the embodiment of Western culture, you see. This is a representation of capitalism. This is a representation of consumerism. This is a rejection of Christianity, at least the kind of Christianity that we celebrate in the West, in the United States, in Canada, and in Europe. That's why we even pointed out the other night in our interview about the Ukrainian orphans that in Ukraine, it was just last year that they were able to celebrate Christmas on December 25th again. And that's what they've done again this year. And that is in, contrast to what happens with Russia. In fact, Santa Claus is in Russia tied more into the new year. than in Christmas on December 25th. Now, in Russia, New Year's Eve has historically been more significant for gift giving than Christmas, largely due to the Soviet era's secularization, where Christmas was not celebrated. Ded Moroz brings gifts on New Year's Eve, not on Christmas Day, as with Santa. And so what you're getting here is, even now where people are saying, oh no, we don't have to worry about Russia because Russia's not like it was before, not since the fall of the Soviet Union. No, old habits die hard. Old cultures die hard if they die at all. And this is not, and it's okay for them to have their traditions. It's okay for them to have their Santa. But what they're saying here is screw the West, screw Christianity, Western style, screw what they would perceive to be Western decadence. This is a rejection of all things Western. This is the extension of this political ideology that I've been referring to. This is the new political ideology, this new liberal, neoliberal fascism. They're getting the convergence over in Russia as well. And I would say this political convergence is actually filtering its way, finding its way over into certain aspects of the political environment in the West as well. We need to be very aware of this. This video is much more significant culturally, politically, geopolitically than people realize. This particular video is not only raising red flags for me, it's setting off another 5-alarm fire warning for me. And I see still people here in the West, especially among the freedom movement or the conservative movement or the populist movement, people, especially Johnny, who I'm sure is glad to see Santa Claus blown out of the sky because he loves him some Putin. And I'm afraid to look in the chat, but he's probably cheerleading for it right now. This is sick. And we see people saying, go Putin. Well, he threatens to nuke us. And then they portray Santa Claus erroneously, falsely accusing frickin' Santa Claus of being a warmonger who's delivering bombs to Russia to blow up Russia. It's sick. It's not true. It's absolute sick Russian propaganda.
Your presents! Happy New Year! Holy shit!
Все? Все. Цель уничтожена. Правильно.
And this is a Russian propaganda video being distributed in Russia on various Russian media platforms. I don't have the subtitles up. I know that the translation basically loosely says that they don't want any foreign aircraft in their airspace or nothing foreign in their airspace. And so they blow it up. They take out Santa. They kill him. And in so doing, they're making a statement about how they're just against what the West stands for. They're against consumerism, capitalism, free markets. They're against our religion. If you're a Christian, they're against Western Christianity. They're against what Duganists would call, pro-Russian Duganists would call decadence, the decadence of the West. That's what this video is all about. And this is not aimed at us here in the West. This is aimed at a domestic audience within Russia in order to portray even Santa Claus as a warmongering evil figure. It's sick, it's twisted, and it's dangerous because it's another step toward honestly dehumanizing us, portraying us as the enemy. People are sitting here saying, oh, we shouldn't be so Russophobic. It's too much Russophobia. You don't need to be fearing Putin. Don't be afraid of Russia. Well, on the Russian front, what do you think that is? That's instilling fear, inciting fear, spreading fear of the West, spreading fear of us, of our traditions, our culture, our religion, portraying even Santa Claus, a figure that really is the embodiment of love and charity and all things good, portraying that him as some sort of an evil warmonger who's there to drop bombs on, I guess, presumably children and families during the most holy time of year, Christmas, which they don't recognize in the same way. They have their own traditions. Although after the fall of the Soviet Union, Santa Claus has become more common in Russia. It has been embraced in many ways, and is becoming seen more commonly within Russian society. And as I say, we're going to go to the phones here, so let me take a quick break. We're going to take our first call of the night, and you can weigh in on this conversation. If you have something to say about it one way or the other, and Johnny, I called you out on this one, my Putin-loving, Russian-loving, anti-American, anti-Canadian friend, Maverick, I'm calling you out on this one. Good luck defending this. Good luck defending Russia's murder of Santa Claus. And, oh, Rick, you're being so extreme. No, I'm not. This is sick, twisted, and I'm appalled. Disgusted, actually, because it's disrespectful and harmful, and it's a completely inaccurate depiction of everything that we stand for here in the West. We're going to get into it more, and you can join the conversation. Let me get the number up on the screen for everybody so that you can call in tonight. 1-519-401-1373. Okay, Mavericks, it's call-in time. Join the conversation. Call now. 1-519-401-1373. 1-519-401-1373. Exercise your right to free speech. That's 1-519-401-1373. That's 1-519-401-1373. Maverick News. Call now. The world is watching and listening to you. All right, let's go to our first caller of the night. Dragon, welcome back to the program, my friend.
Thank you, sir. Hello, Mavericks. All enjoy the holidays already, because we got some stuff for you tonight. I've provided you to actually 3 links on the Rumble link or Rumble chat. If you look at it, you can see basically the rhetoric, the same rhetoric from the pro-Palestinian, right?
Hang on a second. Can people hear Dragon okay? Because it seems like your volume on my phone going into the system is maybe a little bit low. I just want to make sure people can actually hear you. But continue talking, and I'll just check the chat to see if people are able to hear you. Go ahead there, Dragon.
Okay, so basically what's happening is, well, what you're depicting from the Russian side, right? I see it as the same rhetoric or the same ideology towards the pro-Palestinian, doing the same kind of comment, if you will, by, for example, what they have done on the Boxing Day, right? They have called us basically providing money for those whose destroying their people from buying from, you know, just being consumers, basically. So by being consumers, you become a sheep, and the sheep are just, you know, obliging to creating more chaos, right?
Yeah. Trumpinator says, Rick calls out people, so I call out him. Okay, Trumpinator, have at it. Whatever, man. What else can I say? So, yeah, there is an actual alignment there between the pro-Hamas, pro-Palestinian protesters that we're seeing on the streets across Canada and the U.S. and Russia. They are in alignment. Iran is a Russian ally. Iran is opposed to the West. We're in conflict with Iran. China, Iran, Russia, India. These are the countries that have formed this, what they're calling an axis of resistance, and it's manifesting itself on our streets. It absolutely is.
By telling you to hate your own country because you're becoming the sheep of your own government that is aligning with, you know, Israel and so on, and you're becoming a killer yourself and stuff like this. So basically, this is the way that they are depicting us and making us look bad.
Yeah, and I'm so freaking tired of the propagandists spinning up information and turning people's brains inside out so that everything in the West is bad and everything is our own fault. Anything bad that happens to us is our fault. That corruption is only in the West. Somehow all these dictators around the world, these dictatorships, authoritarian governments, communist governments, dictatorships, there's no corruption there. No, they're just victims all the time. Right, Johnny? Yeah, that's right, because the West is bad, bad, bad all the time. I'll tell you this, too. I have to say, Dragon, and I don't know if you can comment on this because this is maybe coming out of left field a little bit for you, but what Trump is doing right now, I would say that's Vladimir Putin's dream. Here's this guy, president-elect, going around picking fights with all of America's allies, while at the same time capitulating and playing nice and being diplomatic with all of America's traditional, or I don't know if traditional is quite the right word, but America's fiercest adversaries, inviting Xi Jinping to his inauguration, right? He's echoing a lot of the Russian talking points. It's pretty clear that Vladimir Putin wanted Trump to win, but I don't think that Vladimir Putin wanted Trump to win because he was going to be nice to Russia. I think that Vladimir Putin wanted Trump to win because he knew he was not going to be nice to a lot of U.S. allies, like Canada, and to NATO countries. The NATO is in danger of splitting apart because of Trump's approach to dealing with other NATO countries, military spending and all of these things. Now, it may emerge stronger than ever on the other side of this, but this is not good for U.S. geopolitical relations. It's playing right into Vladimir Putin's hands, I would say, because it's pushing the U.S. allies away at a time when we need to be bringing countries closer together and putting forward a unified stance.
Yeah.
It's strange.
Yeah, well, they're playing, I think, a poker game together, if you know what I mean. It's a political poker game that they're having,
Yeah.
which they don't have the same approach with Biden administration for some reason.
Yeah, and all sorts is in the chat right now saying Trump does not do things. Bring it up here. Trump does not do things the way we are used to seeing things being done. Give him a chance. Yeah, I'm trying to. I'm trying, and I hope you're right. I hope it's just that he's doing it different and hoping to get a better result. But I'm worried. I'm worried because Canadian sovereignty is literally at risk.
Okay, well, can I just insert to the poo here? And you'll need to go on the Rumble links. There's one I need you to show to the people. It's on X, and basically it's going to bring you to a photo with some guys. There's, I think, 5 figures that you're going to see. And what it says, it's the GI list of the month. And they're all people from Ontario, Montreal, and Vancouver. So, yeah, we got GI list in our cities? Really, guys? Is it really where we're going? So, I mean, sorry, but the poo said something along the ways that I sound like you. Well, if I do sound like you, well, I will sound like you more than ever. We are invaded. You already said that, and I will oblige to that. We are invaded.
Well, I think that we're at war, and you certainly have activists out there who are promoting anti-Western viewpoints. I don't think there's any question about it. I'm having trouble, getting this link or whatever you want me to bring up, Dragon. I know what you're saying, but the bottom line is you're trying to say that there are people who believe in jihad. Yeah, we've got people out there. I'll bring up a protest instead because I can't get your link up. But this is a scene from Ottawa, I think even today. I think this is today, although the stuff that gets posted on social media, it's hard to keep up with the dating on it because a lot of stuff gets reposted. But the point being, this is just one of many, many, many protests, pro-Palestine, pro-Hamas protests that are out there. And we're deviating from this Christmas video. And I have to say, too, I have to respond to Mr. Trumpinator, who's accusing me of being pro-war. No, I'm not. I am not pro-war. I am pro-peace. But I'll tell you this, I'm pro-freedom. And if a country is invaded and attacked, Trumpinator, then I'm all for protecting people from people who want to kill them and bomb them and then blame us for it or blame the people that they're invading. No, I'm not pro-war at all. But I'm also, and Johnny sent me a message the other day. He said, you got to size up your opponent. And if your opponent, like Russia, is bigger than you, and I'm paraphrasing, then you walk away. Let that be a lesson to Ukraine. Well, what the hell, Johnny? Where are they supposed to go? Where are they supposed to walk to? They've got no place to go. Their country's been invaded. They are at home. And Vladimir Putin's soldiers are literally in their living rooms. So where would you like them to walk to, sir? Well, they're being killed and their country taken over because Vladimir Putin and the Russians don't recognize Ukraine as a country when it is. Wake the hell up, sir. And I do take life very seriously, Johnny. Defend blowing up Santa Claus for me during this holiday season, please. They literally murdered Santa Claus in a propaganda video and laughed about it. Sorry, not sorry. Inexcusable. If we did that to Grandfather Frost,
I would see a Putin out the next day and, on his Tribune and say something about it.
Leave Trump alone. He's not even president yet. Well, stop threatening us. Okay? Stop acting like Vladimir Putin. Trump. Okay? I've been, more than charitable. I've never come out to endorse anyone politically on this program, one way or the other. Not Trump, not RFK Jr., even though we gave him tons of time on this program. I've been critical of politicians, and I'll continue to be critical of politicians, and I'll be critical of Trump. I'll be critical of all politicians if they deserve it. You threaten my country. You threaten my country's sovereignty.
I'm going to get my hockey stick too.
And here's Trumpinator. Here's Trumpinator. It was Santa's time, Rick. Was it really? Oh, okay. So you think it's okay to nuke Santa? Okay. Well, it might seem like it's just dark humor, or maybe it's a good laugh for you, but it's a direct assault, an affront, and an insult to Western Christians. That's what it is. And our way of life, our society. It's a snub. And it's disgusting. Because it strikes at the very heart of what we are and what we aspire to be as people. It's dehumanizing to us. And I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. Dragon, over to you.
Well, you're totally right, and it's unacceptable what's going on. I mean, I'm all there for their protest in a way, but at some point, when you start to speak for violence, that you want to take away our freedoms and stuff like that, and call yourself jihadist, I mean, you're just going on top. And I think I'm going to document something out of it, because I might just want to do that and look into what I can do with authorities, because as a citizen, I think we all can do something about it, I think. And if you feel at all, or if you do have something in mind about it, well, just call your police and ask if there's some way that this can be regarded. Because to me, we have some laws, right? And Trudeau is passing some C-63 laws and so on. So to me, it's look like two sides, a law for thee and not for me. If I go online and say something against
Dragon, I got to drop your call. I've got other stuff coming in. I'm sorry, I got to jump off before I lose this call. Okay.
All right.
All right. Bye. Go ahead. Who's on the line?
It's Sandy, Rick.
Hey, Sandy. How are you tonight?
I'm good. How are you? Well, I'm kind of pissed off like you.
Yeah, and hang on a second. Joseph, I see that you're in the chat there, and I'd love for you to call in. It says that you're going to bed, and I know you're tired, but even if you gave us a couple of minutes, give us a call, man. I sent you an email there earlier, too, and I'd love to have your thoughts on this. But you go ahead, Sandy.
All right, I'm pissed off, too.
Yeah.
I'm with Dragon.
Yeah.
Unacceptable.
Unacceptable. You kill Santa Claus, and people are... Sandy, we literally have people in the chat tonight defending it.
Yeah, absolutely.
What the hell's wrong with you guys?
What the hell wrong is with Johnny? What is his problem?
I don't know. These people say they're patriots, and maybe they are, but they're sure as hell not American or Canadian patriots. Maybe they're just big fans of the great patriotic Russian war. That's maybe the kind of patriots they are.
Russian trolls.
Yeah, useful Russian idiots. Johnny says, I still believe in Santa Claus.
Idiot trolls, just like Johnny.
Yeah. Well,
he's a useless troll. He has to do something. He's got to volunteer or get proactive or get out of his fucking chair. Sorry, get out of his fucking chair and go outside and start, Be more positive. Do something.
Paul Charles disagrees with me this time. That's fine. You can disagree, but please go ahead, defend the murder of Santa Claus. Go ahead. Sandy, call me back in a few minutes. Another call coming in. Go ahead. You're on the air.
Hello?
Hello. Go ahead.
Happy New Year.
Love you, Johnny, but you can't defend this one.
Hey. Oh, sorry. I'm listening. Let me turn this down. Hang on 1 minute.
Mm-hmm.
Happy New Year. Okay. What happened to the screen? I still see your face. Your lips moving. Okay. Listen. Russia hasn't taken nothing from Ukraine. What they've taken is what they had before.
Horse shit.
So.
Bullshit. Ukraine's a sovereign country. They've been fighting for their independence for a long time, Johnny. And what you're spewing right now is a Russian lie.
Listen, they should not join NATO. Trump's right.
NATO's aside. That's not even the issue. The issue is, does Russia have a right to exist? That's the issue, Johnny. Is Ukraine its own country? And yet the answer is yes. That means Russia has no business being in there, period. Period. So you said that they should walk away. Where the hell would you like them to walk to?
Russian people there. They controlled that before, and
that's the goddamn problem. That's the problem, Johnny, is that they controlled it, but it ain't theirs. It ain't theirs. It's not Vladimir Putin's to have. He took it. It belonged to the Nazis for a while too. People went in and they went out, and the poor Ukrainian people suffered. And then after the fall of the Soviet Union, they were guaranteed their sovereignty. Their borders were guaranteed by the United States, by the UK, and by Russia. And Vladimir Putin violated that and decided he was just going to take it over.
What happens in Ukraine has got nothing to do with me.
Got everything to do with you. And if it doesn't, if you don't give a shit about Ukraine, why are you in here tonight talking about it again? Why are you in the chat every damn night? Johnny, why are you in the chat every night spewing the Russian bullshit and attacking everything that's said that is in defense of anything Ukrainian? You don't care? You care a hell of a lot. Why do you care so much?
Why don't you support Canada for a change?
I do support Canada. I'm pro-Canada. You don't give a shit about Canada. You hate Canada. You sit there and spew your pro-Hamas bullshit. You go down there and you support those protesters blocking the streets day in, day out, and then you come on there and you hammer on Canada. You hate the country. You hate the West, and all you do is spew your crap every night. Peacefully doesn't mean blocking access for some people to universities and colleges by taking over the campus.
Now you have to go back to the universities, eh?
You're the one bringing it up, man. You bring it up every night in the chat. You say you don't care, but you care a hell of a lot. You care more than just about anybody, so much so that you get in there and you attack. You care a lot, but you don't care about your country. You're certainly not a patriot, and you're sure as hell not a conservative. You're quite the opposite.
Well, I ain't a Ukrainian, that's for sure.
Well,
I got nothing to do with Ukraine. I live in Canada. I don't give a crap about Ukraine or Russia.
Yes, you do. You care. Yeah. Then why are you in there spouting off about it every night?
I have a soft heart for kids and old.
But not Ukrainian kids. You didn't give a shit. Nope. You didn't give a shit about the Ukrainian orphans we were talking about the other night. Quite the opposite. You didn't care about them at all.
There's 147 million orphans on this planet. Once you praise all of them, why just Ukraine?
I don't.
Ukraine with you. Ukraine. What about the 147 million orphans on this planet? Why don't you praise them? That makes more sense to me. Why do you have to praise Ukraine?
Because you hate Ukrainians. You've said so. You hate Jews, too. Johnny the Jew hater. That's you, Johnny. Johnny the Jew hater. You've even said so to me yourself. You hate them. You're full of hate.
I don't hate Ukraine. I love Ukrainian people.
No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't give a shit about Ukrainians. You've said so.
By the way, I'll impress you here. I bought myself 4 pairs of military jeans, 2 dark green and 2 camouflage, a dark and a light, 2 dark green t-shirts and 2 military green shirts, and I look like Levinsky now when I walk around, so you should be praising me. We're not dressed in green, that is. I like dressing in green. I like Levinsky's look. I don't like suits. And that's the truth. No,
Okay.
really. I bought 4 jeans.
Johnny, look, man, I really like you. You're a friend. But I'm pissed. And I'm sick of the hatred. I'm sick of the racism.
I even sent you, I don't know if you got it yet, but I even sent you a Christmas card. See?
Okay.
That's what kind of, anyway, and it's got nothing about Ukraine on it, by the way. Just wishing you Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
And as much as I'm pissed off at you right now, actually, I still love you. And and I still think you're a friend. But I'm so pissed. And you cannot, I'm sorry, you cannot defend them blowing up fucking Santa Claus.
Don't tell the little kids that. You gotta sick the kids on.
I told people, viewer discretion advised on this program. I told you. I told everybody. So sorry for the F word there, folks, but I'm pissed.
Ease up on Ukraine. It's too much.
I'm tired of people burning our churches. I'm tired of people yelling death to Canada. These are the people you are supporting, John. They're literally in the streets yelling death to Canada, death to the United States, death to America, and death to Israel.
You know what the funny thing is? They're all Canadians. They're white people saying this.
Some of them, yeah, quite a few of them, a lot of them. You too. These are the people you're supporting, and there are a lot of people who are not white people as well. But I've been pointing that out. These are that's because this is political activism. This is not just. It's not just about Palestine. It's not just about Ukraine. It's all interconnected. It absolutely is. And don't for 1 minute think that I don't care about the children in Palestine that have been killed. I absolutely do. And I care about all the orphans in the world. But I sure as hell also care about Ukrainian kids. And Ukraine has a right to exist. Vladimir Putin does not respect that.
That's right. I agree with you 100%.
But
that's the first thing that I agree with you on Ukraine.
So the problem is that, though, John, is you keep saying, and you said this to me the other day, that Ukraine should just walk away. They've got no place to walk to.
Listen. I've learned from all my training and everything. The first thing when you get into a fight is you size your opponent.
Right.
If it looks like you're not going to be able to take them, you walk away.
Right.
You're not going to get your head smashed.
Well, where would you like?
Away.
They got no place to walk to.
You know who Russia is?
They have no place to walk to. They
got the Americans behind them. They got Europe behind them.
They didn't start the war. John, I got to go because I've got a lot of calls coming in.
We can join NATO. Yes.
No, John, they can't
join NATO.
You think they're not part of NATO? It's a false argument because the war's not stopping that. You can call back later if you want, but I got to take these other calls. Okay, go ahead. You're on the air.
It's Sandy.
Hi.
It's for Johnny.
Go ahead, Sandy. And Joseph, you call in because I know you're tired. I saw your call come in. I do want you to call in. And if you call in, I'll put you in the front. We'll bump whoever's on off, and then we'll come back to those callers after.
This is for Johnny. Johnny, fuck you. fuck you, Johnny. Ukraine is their country. They're fighting for their country, okay? Stop posting the propaganda bullshit.
Thank you, Sandy.
Okay?
I got one person.
Okay? Santa's not murdered. There's nothing wrong with Santa. There's something wrong with you, Johnny.
There's something wrong with anybody that blows Santa Claus up.
Anyone who blows up Santa, they gotta be shot.
Well, for crying out loud.
For crying out loud, give me a break, Johnny. Get off. Get off. Get off your chair. Go to bed. Go to sleep. Good night.
Trumpinator says that they can walk to the territory they still have, Rick. Yeah, well, Putin ain't quitting.
Well,
Trumpinator.
You know what? Putin is poo-poo. He's poo-poo.
It's because people's brains have been twisted with the rhetoric. It's like they seem to think that all you have to do is just quit fighting and the war will be over. They can't.
They're laughing at it, think it's funny, and it's not funny because Ukraine is fighting for their own goddamn country.
And Trumpinator says
It's not funny.
It's not funny. And Trumpinator saying Santa is fake. Yeah, Santa is not fake. Santa is a concept. It's a construct, but it's part of our culture. It's part of our for a lot of people it's part of their religion. It's part of our societal construction.
Fuck you too and your Palestine bullshit, Johnny, because I saw the Boxing Day thing, and you posted it, you fucking asshole, and I'm coming for you. And that bitch is going to jail.
Well.
Okay? She's going to jail. And the more you post, the worse it gets. And the more you post, Johnny, you're sitting in your chair and you're pooping in your chair. Right? Right?
Yeah, I guess. I'm just looking in the chats here.
He's pooping in his chair. Johnny's pooping in his chair. I really hope so.
Oh man, like
I know, Rick.
too much.
I'm with you too. It pisses me off.
Hey, Antonio's watching tonight. I love Antonio. You know he's giving us some.
I like Antonio too.
I know.
Yeah.
You know what, Antonio? At the end of the program, we need to get you on at the end of the program so you can give us some words of positive inspiration to kind of finish this thing off on a positive note tonight.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Johnny, Rick. I don't want Johnny on anymore because all he does is freaking laugh about it, and he thinks it's a joke because he's sitting behind his chair, and he's pooping in his chair, and he's pooping all over it, and he's laughing about it, and it's not funny no more, Johnny. Really, really.
Yeah, Bernadette says targeting Western culture is what they are doing, causes more division. That is right. Yes, they are targeting Western culture.
It's causing division.
And destabilizing things even more. Yes.
Even more. Absolutely. And Trump, I don't know, maybe Johnny and Trump should get together or something. I don't know. It's just weird. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's really weird. And this, Boxing Day, when I saw that in Toronto, it really pissed me off. It pissed me fucking off.
Well, a lot of people are getting upset with these protests.
And they only protest during holidays. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, well, they've ramped things up, over the holidays here. In here, actually, I've got to.
Fucked up the holidays. They're fucking up the holidays.
That's what these pro-Palestinian protests are about. It's not really just about Palestine.
That's what they're fucking doing. You got it, Rick.
Yeah,
you fucking got it.
It's to disrupt Christmas. It's to disrupt Christmas because they're anti-Christian, they are anti-capitalism, anti-Christmas. That's what it is.
They're anti-Christian, they're
Yes, they are.
anti-Catholic, they're anti-Bible, they're anti-this, they're anti-that. They're fucking shitheads.
Okay. Well, Sandy,
They're fucking roaches.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump off this call, and I'm gonna run this little clip, and we've got other people I think who want to call in tonight.
You got it in the Dragon too.
Thank you for calling in tonight, Sandy. And normally, when you and I talk, you bring your voice of sunshine and positivity, but
Well,
tonight
I'm
you're
not so sunshiny and rosy these days.
not
my
tonight.
friend.
You're not. As you said to me the other day, your hair is on fire.
My fucking hair is on fucking fire.
Oh my God.
And I'm going gray.
Yeah. Well,
You have beautiful hair. I love your hair.
you like my hair? Oh my. Well, thank you for calling in.
Speak up. Be patron. Be Canadian and suck it up because these Palestinians are done and over and they're gone. They're
Well-
going to be gonzo.
Well, we got onto the Palestinian issue tonight, but it's really, the death of Santa Claus that I'm upset about. Oh,
I want
man.
that bitch in prison.
Well, thank you, Sandy, for calling in tonight.
And I want her name. I want her name.
Oh, you mean the one that was yelling "Death to Canada" on the steps of the
Absolutely. I want her
that
name.
building in Vancouver? Yeah,
In Vancouver. I want her name.
yeah,
I want it.
yeah. I think that was a pretty prominent
Very
far left
big
wing political
fucking
activist.
Mistake.
Yeah,
Very big mistake.
indeed. Okay, well, thank you, Sandy. Going to jump off the call.
Peace, my friend.
And peace to you. That's what we really want is peace, but it's got to be peace with freedom.
I adopted you already.
Thank you.
And Cosmo. You're
Yes.
the best.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Talk to you later. And this lady right here, just in response to what Sandy's been saying, this woman's also upset with these protests. I'll tell you, the pro-Palestinian protests, a lot of public support, a lot of public sympathy, but when you're blocking the streets, preventing people from accessing public places, you start violating other people's rights, like freedom of movement, you start to lose public support. When you start protesting to disrupt Christmas, you start losing the public's support.
Good evening, everyone. I'm extremely pissed off fucking Canadian right about now. I'm driving home from work in Edmonton, Alberta, and I come up to the Palestinian protest little convoy that's going on. Well, I'm driving away, and as I'm driving away, I've got my window down, and all you hear is, "Death to Canada! Death to Canada! Death to Canada!" I'm sorry. Go back to your fucking country and fight there and get the fuck out of ours if you hate our country so fucking much. Sorry, not sorry. I'm a fucking very, very, very patriot Canadian. And I'm sorry, after what I just fucking went through on my way home, fuck you and fuck your Palestinian fucking protests. Have a great day.
I have to tell you, I'm not really big on this whole deport all these people that they want to deport thing. I'm not. I think it's just going to be horrific, and we've got to find other ways to kind of deal with it. And criminals, cool, got bad people, actual terrorists, probably shouldn't be here. Could be a security risk. But yeah, these people, and Johnny's quite right, and I've pointed this out as well, about a lot of them not actually being Palestinian. A lot of them are political activists. They're exploiting the Palestinian issue to showcase, to promote their political activism. That's a lot of what it is. And it's anti-American, it's anti-Canadian. But Johnny, you're out there and you're supporting these folks. You have been for a long time. From the beginning. And you continue to support them. But this murder of Santa Claus, while it might seem like it's kind of funny or whatever, no, it's not. It's a direct assault on the West, on our culture. And that's perhaps the most serious thing of all. And that's also what they're fighting for in Ukraine. Their cultural survival. Because what is really going on there is an attempt to commit an act of cultural genocide against the Ukrainian people. Again. And yet it has everything to do with us. Because it's all connected. directly to us. Sorry, it just is. And you think that we can just walk away, size up our enemy, and go, oh, they're too powerful. No, you know what? It's time to stand up for our country against anybody that is in opposition to our values, to our sovereignty. It's time to stand up to Donald Trump. He can be an ally, again, we can be, but if you want to pick a fight, then that's not being friendly. It's one thing to engage in constructive negotiations. It's something else again to threaten our country existentially. Yeah. Not just with a 25% across the board tariff, but by calling us the 51st state. I'm sizing up the enemy, and yeah, you know what, Johnny? I see Godzilla on the other side of that border. And yeah, we don't have a military to stand up to it if we were to be invaded. And that's why Trump should really watch his language. And the reason we don't have a military that would allow us to defend ourselves against the United States is because we live next to the United States. So I am, in that sense, very much a political realist. And that is also why Ukraine gave up their nukes after the fall of the Soviet Union. There are real parallels to be drawn here and lessons to be learned. And here's Joseph, finally. I'm so glad you called in. Great. How are you, my friend?
Oh, not bad, not bad. Pretty tired, getting ready to go to bed. I figured I'd try calling one more time.
Yeah, the phones have been busy tonight, so but I'm glad you finally got through to us. So I want your take on this. Am I off base, or is the murder of Santa Claus okay?
Yeah, to the tune of Grandma got run over by the ring. Santa Claus got slaughtered by the Soviets on his way to Moscow Christmas Eve. You may say there's no such thing as Putin propaganda, but for me and Walker, we believe.
Yes. Yeah, there you go. I mean, I see the dark humor in it, but the more I thought about it, the more it pissed me off. I think this is terrible.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, we got to keep a sense of humor, and yeah, you can maybe try to laugh it off, but it's part of an overall pattern, and I absolutely agree with you. It's for his domestic consumption, and I get tired of the Putin apologies. Oh, he's a Christian. He's no more a Christian than Biden's a Catholic. It's just a label for power and use to fool people, right? He wants to put together the Soviet Union again. He's evil, not stupid. He knows why the Soviet Union collapsed, in part because of their church, which is why he pretends to be Christian and turned the Russian Orthodox Church into the Putin puppet church.
It is a church that is not officially a state church, but it's a creation of the state. In the Russian Orthodox Church is an extension of the state. It is a state church. It's not so closely, it's not controlled entirely by the state, but it is, the Russian Orthodox Church is a church of the state. Unlike here where we have separation of church and state. So the kind of religion or Christianity that is being practiced in Russia is not really the kind of Christianity that we practice over here. And so that video is a direct assault on the Christian faith in the West. It is a direct assault on our economic system, on our social system, on our country, on our sovereignty, it's an assault on us. It's an insult.
And it's not a one-off. It's always an ongoing thing. I mean, Putin, if I recall correctly, was prime minister under Yeltsin tried to overthrow him with a military coup, but the people backed Yeltsin as an extension of Gorbachev. So then Putin just kept undermining him in other ways till he was tossed aside, and Putin's been in charge ever since. But, it's a democracy. He was elected, 8 years he got elected through, bogus, mostly, stuff. Then Medved for 8 years as a proxy puppet, because Putin then was PM, still running the country. Now Putin's back again. And then what? Look at Xi, right? He's running for an unprecedented, and we'll have it because it's a one-party state rule, fourth or fifth term as supposed president there, too.
Yeah. It's just... And then they blow up Santa Claus. And then we have people in the chat going, well, it's okay. Trumpinator says, Santa's time had just come. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, I was in the chat for a little bit, too. Trump, I'm with him on the America first. It does not mean America alone or America only. Otherwise, I couldn't support him. He's not an isolationist. Again, people want to pick and choose certain little things and pretend, he'll never get us into another war. No, he believes in peace through strength, like Reagan, to try to avoid having to, but he's not afraid to commit troops. He committed troops back into Iraq to kill ISIS off after old blunder. We're basically letting them take over Iraq. So, and he kept troops in Syria that are, of course, still there now, in Somalia that are still there now. So, he's somewhat pragmatist, but he's not a Neville Chamberlainist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but I don't know. Like, this is very confusing, what he's doing with Canada and Mexico in particular. The thing with Greenland, again, I'm not sure why we need to approach it in this way. He wants to buy Greenland. At least he's offering to buy it. Right? He's not like, we're going to invade you and take it over. Although the government in Greenland has responded by increasing security and patrols because they're now afraid that they might get invaded. So they're committing a sizable amount of money to increasing patrols. That's not cool. Why?
Yeah.
Why are we going down this road?
Going all the way back to Truman recognized, and going into the Cold War, the strategic need and importance for Greenland, nothing ever happened. So if we can indeed acquire in some way, shape, or form, I'm all for it. And if Gretzky doesn't want to be your PM, how about Grant Shearer? Remember him?
Yeah, that's right. Maybe we get the whole old Edmonton Oilers team, the Stanley Cup champs, to just run the government.
Yeah, as the different administrators below Fuhrer, right? But yeah, I sent you an email. I know you saw it. I agree over and over with you that the nonsense has to stop to some degree. Yeah. But yet at the same time, we got to keep a sense of humor. And, so carrots and sticks and all that stuff. But the email I sent you, how about this? How about instead of you all becoming the 51st, we make a trade? The top half of California, Oregon, all of Oregon, and Washington State can be Calagona province of Canada. You give us a little bit of the top part of BC to become part of Alaska. We'll also give you Wisconsin and Minnesota. It can be Minnewankin or whatever. Almost sounds native that way. Providence. And we'll also give you New York, but to the left, west of Niagara, all the way over to Windsor, below 401, we want all that.
Okay. You're just giving us all the blue states, man.
Yeah, I can't get up past you.
No thanks. No, you keep them, okay? We've got enough. We've got enough lefties in this country as it is. I just want a little less government. That's all I want. Okay, I'm not into the whole, get rid of all the immigrants thing. right? I'm not into that, but I'm like, let's just limit the size of government, get our spending under control, you know, just a little more fiscal responsibility. And oh yeah, also please don't lock us down again, because that really upset me. I want our rights preserved and protected, and then I'm good. Then I'm basically good. Just pick up my garbage once a week and I'm happy.
You don't want some warm weather region, and then we get a lot of places for more ski lodges.
Well, that's the only advantage I really see to joining the U.S. is that I could then move without needing a green card or something to go to live in like Florida, at least during the winter, and not have to worry about it. Or Texas. I'd go down there. I like, you know, down on the Gulf Coast. I love it down there.
Yeah. So
weather's great.
Again, we do indeed take it with a grain of salt and a bit tongue in cheek. But also, yes, there are serious things, underlying things to all those points and problems. And I do think he's just, while trying to undermine Trudeau, I think he's giving Trudeau that distraction and deflection by continuing that idiocy. And like I said the other, what was I going to say? I lost my train of thought. The Gretzky for PMs. You know, luckily, it's now working the way I think a lot hoped it would in undermining Castro's son. Oh, that's part of the trade. As part of that, we won't make him governor, but we'll take him and send him to Gitmo, you know, on Cuba, so he can be on his father's land.
Well, there is that. He'd be closer to his papa. Oh man, I don't know if that's going to fly or not, but we can try to make it part of the USMCA negotiations or whatever.
He hasn't even taken office yet. I mean, but I do agree with you in your point, and I've said before about Elon. I said it in the chat. I'm still locked out of X. He doesn't want the reality of the Tesla fire, or indeed all the subsidies that may not have directly gone to him, but it allowed people to buy his cars. Therefore, he got rich off that, and the NASA and other government subsidies to and for SpaceX. And I've been saying all along, he mainly wants to be head of Doge to protect his interests while going at other people's interests. He will protect his subsidies, just not others.
Yes, that's right. That's right. It's like, here's $270 million so that I can protect, I don't know, $1 billion worth of subsidies for my companies. Yeah. That's really what it is, but man.
Still, hopefully something good, some here and there can come out of that. And the H-1B thing, I back and forth on both sides. I understand both arguments. I've seen it firsthand where someone, they didn't bring somebody in, have that person train them, then lay them off, but there were layoffs, and then 3 months later, rather than bring people back, they, of course, bring in H-1B visa holders. So I'm for reforming H-1B to a degree. You know, we got to tighten it, make sure there's no loopholes indeed for certain things. I don't have the answer on that. I just know we cannot completely allow anyone and everyone wants to stay here. That's how the Chinese also get spies in. But I don't want H-1B eliminated or reduced either. So, you know, I kind of go back and forth on that one. It's a gray area question for me.
Yeah. Did you see the story about the oil tanker that was intercepted by Ukraine, and it was loaded with the Russian oil tanker? It was loaded with spy gear. This is.
I hadn't heard that one.
Oh yeah. This is actually. I meant to mention this, so I'll do it now. And this is also related to Johnny and all his comments about they just can't join NATO. Well, Finland is a full-blown NATO member now, right? Member state. And
remember, Russia invaded before Hitler invaded anyone.
Yes.
And that war could have gone different if Hitler would have said, okay, we eventually want to go at the Russians. They could have been Finland's savior in that situation, kicking the Russians out, which, as he said in my copy, expected to go that direction first and then changed his mind. You know, who all knows what could happen? But yeah, people are completely ignoring history. They don't know that fact about Finland. They know nothing about the Budapest situation. We talked about endlessly on and on and on. Just a lot of useful idiot suckers. And part of it, I think, is Biden derangement syndrome.
Yes.
I'm always for principles, not personalities. And yeah, I can change my mind on occasion, or I can have an exception to a rule, but if they're all exceptions, they're no rule.
yeah. So this ship, this Russian oil tanker, the Eagle S, is... They think that this ship was responsible for severing the Estlink 2 power cable, which runs under the Baltic Sea between Finland and Estonia. And in fact, I think there might have actually been 2 cables that they cut. And so they just boarded this thing in the last day or so, and they found all this equipment on board that it's spy equipment. And not only was the equipment designed to engage in high-tech spying from the sea, it also was equipment to sort of jam communication systems and disrupt communication systems, listening, recording equipment to tap into phone systems, and just all kinds of various equipment. So they're still investigating all this. But yeah, the government of Finland dealing with this, a NATO country, and the sabotage of that line, I would say, is a direct provocation, an escalation, and it looks like Russia is also mobilizing more troops near the Finnish border. So this is another provocation on the Russian side.
Yeah, I've been kind of trying to dig in and figure out what all is going on in Seoul. The prime minister stepped aside or was removed temporarily, and they're looking at potentially removing the replacement now. There has been absolute North Korea, with the help of Russia and China, meddling in South Korea, but did it warrant to the point of martial law declaration? I don't know. Possibly, because I don't know the facts, but it's a hard sell when you're saying, I'm going to enact martial law to protect your freedoms. Well, yeah, he wants to protect their freedoms from being taken over by North Korea and Russia, and you'll have no rights. So he was asking temporarily a crackdown on the rights, because indeed, I mean, if that government falls, there's going to be a massive problem. So whether it warranted martial law then or may sometime soon, I'm not entirely sure. But people are, that's off most people's radars, that they don't even know that's going on over there.
Well, you know, every country has a provision in their constitution under which they, in certain conditions, can impose martial law. And if you are in a state of war, there are certain conditions, especially during a time of war, when it is actually appropriate to impose a state of martial law. And that's kind of where we're at with what's going on in Ukraine. That's also why elections have been suspended. It's because they're in a state of war. So it's not really practical or functional, or it's not even possible, maybe even, to run a free and fair election during a time of war, and ensure the continuity of government.
people out on social media about it over and over and over. Okay, I wrote a 3,000 word thesis on the question: how does one conduct an election in a war zone? And of course, the answers aren't all that simple, so I don't hold him against suspending. But again, it's just people wanting to be anti-Ukraine or anti-Zelensky. What are you going to say? Hey, Putin, can we have a timeout for a month and allow our electors into your occupied part of our country to cast ballots? If you can't hold the whole election, I don't see how people had a problem with not eliminating all future elections like Nazi Germany or anything like that, but suspending them for a while, because indeed that entire country couldn't possibly have a free and fair election. So I cut them some slack, and I ask anyone who tries to use that as a Putin propaganda, talking about, look, Zelensky's a dictator, you know, Putin's been in charge of Russia for, 25, 26 years now straight. He had to do, what is your plan, right? If you, I laid out some things, well, maybe you could hold them in the free parts, but suspend them and keep the representatives from the other parts, because you can't have the, there are things that could be done, but my point to those who just want to use it as an attack point is, where the bleep is your plan? Like the other day on your show, I gave up my email. Gave it out in that. Where's your plan? Nobody, of course, responds, because they don't have a plan. It's not principled. It's personality assaults.
Yeah, speaking of personality assaults, Rick Walker in the chat is posting this. He says, Maverick is a melodramatic drama queen, likely wears red high heels, women's shoes to match his women's makeup. He should be in business selling 5-gallon buckets of ladies' makeup, just same as he wears daily.
Yeah, but he wants to impersonate you at the same time. On your Rumble channel, I emailed you before a couple times, someone going as Rick Walker or Maverick, I forget, clear impersonators in there. It's not you. So, warning to the audience, right? If you're going to say something on Rumble in a comment to one of your own shows, you're also going to say it on the show. So take any one of these responders, clearly impersonators and or trolls, with a grain of salt.
It's just, I don't know. Have you ever, when I have to confess, I have had women's high heels on. I put my mom's on when I was a little kid. I remember I was about, probably 4 or 5 years, probably 4. And I remember walking in my mom's shoes around the kitchen, and my feet just fit into the toes of the high heels, not in the whole shoe. You ever do that when you were a kid? And
I don't
dragging them around.
Ever doing that, but I certainly can't rule it. I mean, it's a whole other thing like that when you're young and just being silly and whatnot.
Yeah, I just shuffled across the floor, and I don't know how women do it, honestly. And this is just a sidebar, but my dad, back in those days, I put his shoes on too when they weren't looking, and he had these dress shoes that he wore to work all the time. He was a chewing gum salesman, and they were, the style back then was like these long, skinny toes that came to a point on the end. And
elf.
Yeah, that's right, kind of like elf shoes. They weren't curly cues on the end, but they were long. Right. You know what we called those, me and my brothers? We called those pickle stabbers. I just a sidebar. Just thank you for bringing that up in the chat there, Rick.Walker. because you brought back fond memories of me wearing my mom's high heels and shuffling around the kitchen. Just sliding on the floor because you couldn't actually walk in them. Like my feet didn't fit in the shoe, right?
You were just kind of shuffling.
Just shuffling around the kitchen. My mom's stupid shoes and my dad's pickle stabbers.
Well, you haven't put on a blue dress for a painting like Bill Clinton did, right?
Oh, no, I haven't done that. No. That's
Or you could be in Podesta's home right now if you did.
that's about as far as I ever went with the women's clothing thing. Was trying to walk in my mom's shoes, and I was about 4. I do remember doing that though. Oh man.
Yeah,
Anyway.
well, Merry belated Christmas and
Yes,
Happy
Joseph.
New Year and all that stuff. And I didn't mean to go there either, but another side issue. I've written a couple of different things of late too. Happy holidays as a Christian does not upset me because I'm a real Christian. I understand hubris is a sin. It's not just about me all the time. Happy holidays recognize Thanksgiving, Hanukkah, Christmas, and Happy New Year. It's not an assault on me as a Christian to say same to you or happy holidays to them too.
Yes. Well, I hope you did have a good Christmas, my friend. And
Yeah, it's more or less just me and my sister, parents and grandparents, and all gone. Even though I was married for a while, but we never had a kid. My sister's been married 2 different times, but she never had a kid with either of the husbands either. So it's kind of just down to the 2 of us. We just had Christmas dinner together, and hey, that's enough. That's wonderful. I'm glad to be away from all that gifting and buying garbage.
Yeah. Well, it's always good to get together with family, sort of, except when we're fighting.
Yeah.
But,
that goes back to what Thanksgiving, right? All right, if you can't put some things aside for a family gathering and a dinner, then yeah, don't come. We don't want you anyway. I saw somebody posted Instagram or whatever, right? 2 liberals in the family, thank you for not coming. We full, we happy, we didn't miss you.
Well, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I'm sure we'll talk again before New Year's Eve, Joseph, and thank you for calling in tonight. I'm so glad you did. I really wanted to hear from you.
Take care, brother.
Okay, talk to you again. See you, bye. There you go. Oh, man. They murdered Santa Claus. The Russians murdered Santa Claus. War is a terrible thing. God help us all. Folks, please, even if you hate what I said tonight, even if you are pro-Putin and you think it's okay to murder Santa Claus, please hit the like. Please share, subscribe. We got a call. Oh, we got to take this call. Here's the other John. This one from the other side of the country, out in Alberta. Go ahead, John. You're on the air.
Well, Ricky, Merry Christmas to everybody in the United States from the 51st Republic of the United States. Daniel Smith, our new governor, she's in the sidelines there, Ricky. She's on hold. But what happened, Ricky, to Santa Claus was shot down out of the sky by a Russian missile, Ricky.
What the hell, John? What am I supposed to do with that?
Well, I don't know, Ricky, but you know, we are now in Alberta. We are the newest republic of the United States. And Ricky, those 4 Canadian bombs you showed on the show last night, that's north of Alberta, Rick. Rick, was that 4 moons showing that Donald J. Trump, or just 4 plain assholes from northern Canada, Ricky?
You're talking about the meme of the RCMP officers mooning Donald Trump.
Oh, was those RCMP officers, Ricky?
They were.
Right, but they were all Canadian mounted police. showing the moon, full moons to Mr. Orange Orangutan Trump. That's it.
Right. Oh man, John, how did you feel about Vladimir Putin shooting down and murdering Santa Claus?
Well, I'm very offended. From Alberta, the third largest oil reserves in the world. You don't touch Santa Claus. He's an international celebrity. He's never been involved in any drugs or storytime drag queen hour. He's crisp and clean, doesn't drink. He's got Mrs. Santa Claus. They're in a heterosexual family thing. You don't touch Santa Claus. Period. He's internationally, and he's protected by my guardian angels, Maverick News Ma'am. He is yours as well. Do you not think Santa Claus is not protected, Rick? And what about Rudolph leading the reindeer pack?
He murdered all the reindeer.
Oh, that's not good.
Like, I know some people don't care about humans too much, but a lot of people always care about the animals, right? Well, they blew the reindeer out of the sky. What the hell did the reindeer ever do to hurt anybody? Nothing. For crying out loud, I mean, like,
is this a really, really bad joke? I don't find it funny to be attacking an international celebrity doing God's work, and Santa Claus is not a celebrity. He's doing God's work, and leave Santa alone. Santa loves humanity. Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus and the family stand for peace in the North Pole.
And I was talking.
Are they going to be invaded too, Ricky, by Putin? Maybe Santa's on the list, being invaded.
Well, we are on somebody's list to be invaded because, like North Pole, isn't that in Canadian territory? I think it is. It's in our jurisdiction. We got to defend Santa, I guess, but too late because they killed him.
And then the fake Russian Santa laughed and giggled about it with the Russian guy that allegedly, Rickster, allegedly, wink, wink, nod, laugh, blew up Santa Claus in the sky. Was that over Russian airspace?
Yes, that's there is a translation, and they put captions up, and at the end there, the grandfather Frost says to the missile operator that they can't have nothing foreign in their airspace, so they blew away Santa Claus, and then they fist bump each other. Here, let's watch it again. Here it goes.
Hi, Russians! Here are your presents! Happy New Year! Holy shit!
Все? Все. Цель уничтожена. Правильно. Не нужно нам ничего иностранного в нашем небе.
С
Новым годом!
He says, Happy New Year.
Тебя, дед.
Happy New Year.
С Новым годом.
Grandfather Frost.
Oh, and Rick, that's a fake Santa Claus sitting beside the Russian guy that punched the button.
Well, he's not a fake Santa. That is Grandfather Frost. That is that's the Russian version of Santa Claus. That's what that is. So their Santa, known as Grandfather Frost or Dead Moros, he murdered our Santa Claus. So Russian Santa Claus murders Western Santa Claus. That's what it is.
Well, Rick, what happened to St. Nicholas? St. Nicholas is Santa Claus from Europe.
Yes, that's right. That's our Santa Claus.
St. Nicholas is the same, St. Nicholas.
Yeah.
Well, Rick.
And here's another thing, Johnny, too. John, this is for Johnny, okay? Johnny keeps saying, well, they shouldn't be putting nuclear missiles, in Ukraine to point at. They don't have any nuclear weapons in Ukraine, not right now. They wouldn't have any. They wouldn't even have the talk about putting nuclear weapons in Ukraine if Russia hadn't invaded Ukraine to begin with. And in addition to that, is anybody paying any attention? Because right now, Russia has amassed nuclear missiles, new tactical nuclear weapons on the borders of Ukraine. And I think even inside occupied Ukrainian territory. And that's pushing right up against Europe. It's the other way around, folks. Hello. Anyway, back to you, Jim.
And that technically, Rick, that's Johnny from Toronto. That's not Ruby John Scott
that's
from
right.
Alberta. We're different. We're different Johns. We're Johns.
Yes.
We need to make that. Well, Rick, we're bending over right now in Alberta with our full moon. Can you put the picture back up there? Our full moon pointed towards the orange orangutan at Mar-a-Lago. Yeah. And is that a full moon from Canada or just a bunch of assholes on your northern border? But, Rick, I don't think we're going for New Year's Eve to Mar-a-Lago.
No, probably not. Probably not me, because.
Well, me, I think I'm off the list too now, my friend.
Well, look at all the positive things we've said about Trump over the past since 2016, right?
We love him.
I never came out and formally endorsed him. I wouldn't do that because of the kind of broadcast this is. But certainly I haven't been very critical of the guy until late. But my God, I don't care who it is. You threaten my country, I'm going to stand up and defend it. I love Canada. I love my country. I'll defend the United States too. Of course.
I'm part American. I love my brothers and sisters in the United States. But I'm Canadian too. And you know what? It takes a long time, Rickster, Maverick News, to piss a Canadian off. But when you do, you got trouble at your doorstep. Who won World War I? Canadians won it with their fierce fighting for democracy and justice. Who won World War II? Canadians are the ones that never ever gave up.
We certainly contributed.
Truth.
Yeah, and
so we love the Trumpster, but Donald, I'm bending over right now in Alberta, giving you 4 big moons from the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, or you're looking up at 4 assholes north of the border, my friend. And you know what, Rick, is a final thought. May God bless Canada, the greatest country in the world. May Canada stand free and sovereign and for justice. And may God bless all Canadians from the East Coast back to the West Coast, back out west. May God bless Canada, the greatest nation in the world, the free world, and the richest as well, Rickster. Well, that's why the Donald has got his eye on Canada. It's for our oil, our gas, our lumber, our manufacturing, our fishing industries. Rickster.
Could be, John. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me because he already has access. The U.S. already has access to all of our resources. We export the stuff to them all the time. It's just that Trump says we're ripping them off, which we're not.
Never happened.
No, we never ripped off the United States. We don't get subsidies from the United States. We don't get $100 billion in subsidies. It's just not true. Straight up, not true. I don't know who's filling his head full of this stuff, but it's not true. And
Rickster, I'm running to my hillbilly truck with my oil well for my gun. We don't have guns in Canada. I got a hockey stick. A hockey stick there, Rickster.
Yeah.
I'm going to defend my country with hockey. Hockey.
Yeah.
And little old ladies at church that bake apple pies and make cinnamon buns. That's how I'm defending my country.
Yeah, well, I think we need another Canada Cup kind of series, right? Like another summit hockey series, and we can just decide decide that whoever wins the hockey tournament, then that's what is, instead of having wars, we'll just have another hockey tournament, like the 1972 Summit Series, or what happened in '74, or those other Canada Cup series. Remember those? Those were the days, man. Solve it with hockey. Although Canada seems to be at a bit of a disadvantage, because in the World Cup Juniors tournament, I guess Canada just lost to, I think it was Latvia yesterday, in a shootout or something. It was like never should have happened, I guess. But I didn't see the game, but I guess that would tilt the odds in probably Russia's favor, maybe even in favor of the U.S. if there was another summit. Anyway, I digress. I'm going off down another thing.
We've got to. We love the United States of America. I'm part American. We are brothers, sisters, family. We are your largest trading partner in the world.
Yeah.
We defend you, although we've got no military, but we do. We do. And don't punch us in the face. Invite us down to Mar-a-Lago. In fact, better, the White House for the inauguration. Treat us like a brother and a sister. As well, Rick, with Mexico.
Yeah.
Come on. Let's be big boys and girls about it. And the stronger Mexico is, Rick, the stronger Canada is, the stronger the United States of America is. That's where the focus needs to be.
Yes, sir.
But I'm just a dumb old hillbilly from Alberta.
Yeah.
From the 51st Republic of the United States.
Yeah. Yeah. And with that being said, I think it's probably time to kind of wrap things up for the evening, John.
Well, I think I just want it from Western Canada, Alberta. May God bless everybody across Canada, the greatest free country in the world. God has blessed us with resources beyond belief. And I also bless, and God blesses the United States of America. But I also bless, in Maverick News, I think you're with me, peace for around the world. We do pray for peace around the world, because that's what it's all about, is peace around the world.
Yes, sir. Peace, peace, peace. I want to get to peace, but going to be a hard time getting there, John, as long as Vladimir Putin keeps threatening to nuke us. And on that,
through strength, Rick.
Yes,
Peace
through strength.
And can you put that RCMP picture up again?
I can't. I don't have it handy. I don't. But
point that at Putin as well.
Yeah.
Not just the orange orangutan.
And I'm gonna
point that a number of directions, my friend.
Okay. And with that, I will. We'll close off tonight with that video that we produced here a few weeks ago called Putin Nukem, just to remind everybody that there's one guy who's amassing nuclear weapons on the border of Ukraine, and one guy who keeps threatening to nuke us, and that is Vladimir Putin. I will see you guys back here tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern, on the flip side. Love you, John, and love you too, Johnny in Toronto. I do, believe it or not, I do. My friends, all of you are my friends, my family, and as dysfunctional as we are too. We are the we're
Rickster. We are the misfit toys
That's
at
right.
Costco.
That's right.
Aisle number 22.
Yes, we are the misfit toys. We're on the island of misfit toys. That's us. And no more timely moment to remind ourselves of that than right now in the Christmas season. And with that, here's Putin Nukem. See you guys tomorrow night.
Putin's got a plan, sitting in the Kremlin, dreaming of the days when the Soviets were winning. Ukraine's on its way out, NATO in its sight, but its soldiers keep retreating from the fight. Putin Nukem, thing we can't talk. Putin Nukem, a war ain't enough. The world's on edge, he's losing his game, but he's ready to light up the flame. Putin Nukem. few. Investigate united view. Panuco. His plans of battle, he goes bruised. The West won't budge in his allies' views. But instead of retreat, he doubles down. The Russian clouds is his final crown. Panuco, you got a reason, God. Panuco, you got he sings his swan song. The whole world's watching, hold his breath while he dances with the devil of death. Panuco, you got. Panuco, you got. Panuco, you got. Panuco, you got. Panuco, you got.